we'll jump ahead a couple. Actually, no, we can stay on New Year's Eve, and the a game that's going to be going on at the exact same time. The All-State Sugar Bowl is happening. Alabama 6.5 point favorites over the Big 12 champions, Kansas State Wildcats. Game 10 a.m. on ESPN. And big question with this one is does Alabama want to be there? That's always seems to be a question against a team that feels as if they underachieved this year. Uh, Early in Nick Saban's reign as head coach, it seemed like if they weren't playing, they were playing in what was labeled as a meaningless bowl game. They would kind of come out flat and not really. It took them a little bit to warm up, wake up. But last year, or not last year, but in 2019 season, they when they played Michigan, blew the doors off them. They wanted to be there. They played well. Bryce Young is going to be playing potentially his last game, probably his last game. Will Anderson also probably his last game as well.
I think that tells you right there they're going to play.
They're going to play.
Kansas State is going to want to try to run the ball. And I hope this game is close. I hope Kansas State gives them a run, but I think Alabama, I think those guys like that we mentioned, I think they are going to want to be there. I think they want to send out that senior class on a high note. And I think this game is close at half, but I think Alabama pulls away in the second half. I just don't think Kansas State has that depth up front yet to compete with the Alabamas of the world.
I'm with you. I think Alabama eventually pulls away. Just Deuce Vaughn, I don't think they'll be able to get enough out of him. They're going to shut him down. I don't know what they have at receiver. I'm not going to lie, but I don't think they have nearly as much talent as Alabama at the end of it. And Bryce Young as well. Bryce Young, he's going to make some stupid plays that Kansas State's QB, no offense, cannot do. So Alabama, I'll say by 20.
And is Adrian Martinez playing for Kansas State, or is he still hurt?
They said this in the Big 12 championship game that they think he'll be ready to go for the bowl game. But I think they're going to stick with Will Thompson and they might work Adrian Martinez in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But Adrian Martinez is another guy too that you got to feel good for having a lot of a few ups, a lot of downs at Nebraska, and then going to Kansas State and really playing well, and then just unfortunately got hurt and had to sit out the rest of the season or for most of the season. But
you got to think,
leave his college on a high note.
Had he not gotten hurt in that first half in that TCU game, they'd probably win that game.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. They were up 28-10 or something, I think.
Yeah, and I think at one point it was 28-10 or 24-0. So yeah, to your point, you feel good for him, Dylan. I'm wondering if the speed and the strength on Alabama's front seven is going to be something that Kansas State's not used to.
You have to wonder how good. Oh, go ahead, Grant. Sorry, I thought you were done.
Those horses that Alabama has up front, they don't have that in the Big 12. And I understand Alabama's defense statistically, wasn't really that good this year. They gave up a lot of points. But when you get Will Anderson Jr., is it Henry To'oTo'o number whatever?
Yeah,
and then you get Dallas Turner coming at you. No, I don't want to stop that. Those dudes are on a mission and they're trying to hurt some people. And I'm curious to see if Kansas State will be ready for it. And if they're not, it could be a long day in New Orleans for the Wildcats.
You do have to wonder, though, with Adrian Martinez, like, one, if he could have stayed healthy at Nebraska, and two, if he had a different coach than Frost, how good he could have been.
Well, yeah, and to your point, Ethan, because it showed this year. He had a coach that finally believed in him.
Yeah.
And one that wasn't
an offensive coordinator in Colin Klein, who actually put him in good spots.
Yeah.
Look at the year he put up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and probably the best part of his year was that Saturday night in Norman when he lit Oklahoma on fire. They just
look good.
They could not stop him. They did not have an answer for Adrian Martinez.
No, and especially because he had to go back because the year before had some turnovers that cost them the game essentially and then
Yep.
to be able to go back to the scene of the crime and have basically pretty much a Heisman moment.
And you had the
Yeah.
game of your career.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think if when Kansas State fans look back on the brief Adrian Martinez era, that's the game they're going to point to.
And also, they might point to maybe this, if things really get going with Coach Kleiman here, that could be that game where it was that signature win. They were like, this team is now officially buying in, like, hey, we can compete with these guys. Because, I get it. Oklahoma finished the year 6-6, and they blew a lot of games late. But at the time, they were 3-0. They just destroyed Nebraska. They're feeling good about themselves, and Kansas State went there and they beat that ass. So, be interesting to watch Kansas State over these next couple of years, and maybe we can sit back and say that Saturday night in Norman changed things for them.
Yes, it did indeed. Indeed, it did.